Welcome back to Teach English Now. In this last video, we demonstrated how a princess, a prince, and a queen are all not seeing things. They just aren't noticing what is right in front of their faces. Now, what does this have to do with language learning and grammar? Well, this problem of not noticing is a very common phenomenon in language learning. To be honest, many students who read and write very well still don't see some of the mistakes they are making. One theorist, Richard Schmidt, explained that even though learners may have acquired a number of language features, other language features go completely, unnoticed. He devised a hypothesis called the noticing hypothesis that suggests that learners cannot learn the grammatical features of a language unless they first notice them. Now, noticing alone doesn't mean that they will gain language acquisition. Rather, they will have to notice and act, just like the princess didn't have success just seeing the gate. She has to, knock. So, what can teachers do about all of this? First of all, as we mentioned earlier, as a teacher, you need to notice the mistakes that your students are making. That will give you a good idea of what needs to be taught in your reading and writing classes. Second, after you have identified any individual or group problems with grammar, you need to introduce learners to the grammatical item. Hand in hand with the theory of noticing is the theory of input enhancement, put forth by Mike Sharwood Smith, who suggests that if students continually miss things, then your job is to enhance the elements that they are missing. Did you notice anything that Jessica enhanced? Yep, you got it. The sky, the gate, the knock on the gate, the picture. All of these were attempts to enhance the input and help people notice what they should be paying attention to. So, how do you do this in your classes? Well, for many teachers in a reading-writing class, giving feedback on student assignments is a way to help students notice. Creating lesson plans on specific grammatical items is another way to help students notice. Repeating back an incorrect item and asking for a student to recast a sentence is yet another way to help students notice. And there are even easier ways to do this. Enhancing input is actually done all the time. Did you know that bolded phrases, italics, and underlines are all forms of enhanced input? And repeating something in class is yet another example of enhanced input. Make sure that all of your readings and writing models include enhanced input. Why not? All readings and writings are opportunities to teach grammar of some kind. One last thing. Did you notice that our queen, even after she received enhanced input, still didn't notice the picture? Did you notice that she was obsessed with all those mattresses and that tiny pea? Here we want to extend the metaphor one last time and discuss how this queen falls into a trap that some teachers can fall into. What should the queen have really been paying attention to? People. What did she pay attention to? Mattresses. Here's my point. There are times in my teaching career where I have seen teachers who did not use a student-centered approach. Rather, they used a book approach and followed all the rules they could find in the book, believing if that they taught all the rules of language, then students would magically learn language. The truth is, while teaching grammar rules can be useful, be careful not to turn your class into a place where all students do is march in line, take their tests, and focus on rules that are barely used in the outside world. Our queen, like these teachers, marched people mindlessly through her exercise so that she could see if they would notice a P. This to us, a P, represents a tiny, insignificant grammar rule, one that doesn't matter when looking at the full context of a situation. Another way to say this is this: don't focus on the small, and by so doing, ignore them all. Now, the truth is, sadly, as a language teacher, you can't force your students to notice, but you can create an environment that gives opportunities and multiple opportunities to see grammatical forms that might be tricky for them. Don't expect perfection in this, and please give students time to work on and practice these forms. Let's conclude. Is grammar fun? Well, there is no doubt that getting better and improving your language is motivating for learners. As you provide enhanced input and even correction, remember to always point out the gains that they have made. As you point out mistakes and difficult grammatical structures, make sure you also praise both effort and progress. In the next video, we will briefly summarize the basic principles presented in this module and get you ready for our module quiz. We'll see you then.